Hi and welcome to video number 2 for our class in a box for September. My name is Jenny McCormack. Thank you so much for joining me. This is my choice for the second card, and you can do this, as you can see, going across the diagonal for a portrait card. You could also have it going across the diagonal for a landscape card. You could also have it coming down the left hand side or the right hand side, or straight across the middle. So there's lots of different ways you can do this. Now this particular version is stamped, but if you don't have any Snowflake stamps, then you could use the die cuts to create a similar effect. So I'll show you how to do that, but I will start with the stamped version. So from your pack you'll need one of the A5 card bases and one of the pieces of white, whisper white, that are cut to size. The measurements for this are all in the PDF file on the resources page, but I can tell you that this is 10 centimeters by 14.35. That's the piece of white. So all we're going to do is literally stamp snowflakes going across. So just to do something different, I'm going to do this as a band across the middle, but the setup is exactly the same. Now from the stamp set there are a lot of snowflakes, so it is entirely your choice whether you go for large or small. These sizes here are smaller than the actual stamp. So if I bring, for example, this one here, which is the one on the right hand side, you can see obviously there's a size difference. Tells you at the bottom the images are at 70% of the finished size, and that's only so they can depict all of the stamps on the front of the stamp case. So always bear that in mind when you look at the stamp case. Always check for where it says images, or obviously open the stamp set up. Now I've only used a few of these. There's still plenty more there to use. I just thought I'd choose some different ones, and I'm going to make this go across the center. So what I'm going to do is just start with some large ones and then fill in with an assortment of smaller ones. I'm going to use balmy blue for the larger ones, and the smaller ones will get darker. So here's my balmy blue, so I'm going to ink this up. Now if you want to stamp this off to get a lighter one, you can do. Let me move these out of the way for the moment so I don't ink them up. I'm just using some odd pieces of paper here. So that's not too bright, but if I wanted to, I could just have them stamped off so they're not too big. And these all have a watercolour feel about them. Just going to bring this one down a little bit, and this one up a little bit, like so. So this one is just going across the centre. So that's my large one in balmy blue stamped off. Now I'm going to take a smaller one with balmy blue in full strength. Like so. And now I'm going to change colour to Bermuda Bay. I'm going to leave this one open because I'm going to do some sponging of this in a minute. Now what you could do at this point is actually stamp your sentiment. So what I'm going to do is put my sentiment down here on the left hand side, I think, because that will fit in nicely just in there. So I'm actually going to stamp that in navy. This is a great one to do as a one sheet wonder, where you literally stamp the whole of an A4. If you haven't seen that style of stamping, you can find some on my YouTube video. I knew I just put my hand in that. You can find that on my YouTube channel, I should say. So this one is May Your Season Sparkle, and as I said, I'm going to take Bermuda Bay with a darker one, like so. This one coming off, like so, and another one here. So basically all I'm doing is building this whole picture up. Now what I like to do, I'll leave the navy out, but I'll finish with these for the moment, is add a little bit of background sponging, which I think you can see. You can certainly see here in more detail, just brings it all together, and in here slightly lighter. So as I say, there's a lot of snowflakes in the set, so it's up to you which ones you use. And obviously if you have your own snowflakes already, then feel free to use those. And if you haven't got snowflakes, you can use, for example, the little dots to look like snow. So if you've got waterfront or any of the other stamp sets that have got little dots on it, splats or anything similar, then you could use those for a snow effect. You could also do some heat embossing as well if you wanted to. Okay, so I'm just adding that, so that's just bringing those all together like so. And I'm going to go for the smaller ones in Night of Navy. As I said, there's a whole series of shapes and sizes. So you can just literally stamp as you like. Sorry if my hand was in your way a little bit there. I hope that's nice and clear on the screen. Like so. So basically you can build up your pattern as much as you want. There are some tiny snowflakes on this one. If I just stamp this separately, you'll see. So if you do have any little gaps that you want to fill up, you can use this. Or if you want to just extend it out a little bit, you can use it as well. Oops. So basically, as much stamping, as much background sponging as you would like. If you are sponging, just make sure that anything you've just stamped has dried, otherwise you can inadvertently smudge that. Okay. And this one is nice and straightforward. It's going to go straight onto my card. Let me take that layer away. So I'm going to pop that on, and then I'm going to add some more bling to that. So I'm just using my seal, but you could use tape, dimensionals, glue stick, whatever your preferred method of adhering is. This is going nice and flat. So this is a great way to make a whole stack of cards fairly quickly by taking an A4 sheet and stamping right the way across. So you're basically doing at least 2 cards in one. And then for this one, in your packs you have these sets of gems. There's a light and a dark, and there's 2 sizes, as well as your adhesive snowflakes. So you can add any of these in. So I'm just going to use a couple of these on the larger snowflake there. This one is fairly well covered. So then I'm going to use some of the blue snowflakes to add these in, like so, just to add a little bit of bling. I'll put one more in. Let's have it in there, like so. I'm going to put one more, so I've got 5 in total. Yes. Let's have it down there. There we go. So that is card number 2. Obviously, if you've used a dark coloured card, especially if you've used Night of Navy, you could add your other piece of card on the inside, and you could stamp that up as well. So let's stamp across this corner. Just going to bring my piece of scratch paper back, and just going to pop in a couple of snowflakes over here on the right hand side. There's 1, 2, like that. And I'm going to add a little bit of balmy blue. Now I know I did the large ones in this, but stamp that one off. Like so. And then I'm going to add some navy ones. Perhaps I have one of the larger of the multiples, like so, and a few of the tiny ones just off the end. So the inners are entirely optional. You could, of course, stamp on the inside of the actual card itself if you wanted to. And I am going to add a little bit of the ink sponge, just very lightly across here. I'm hoping that's dried enough. It just depends on how wet your ink pads are. So if you've got a brand new ink pad that's quite wet, then do make sure that's dried first. There we go. So that's my inner for that. I'm just going to attach that across the top, like so, and pop it on the inside. There we go. That is card number 2. Let me show you some of the original ones. So this is going across a band in the centre. This is going across the diagonal for a landscape, and this is diagonal for a portrait card. So I hope you like those. Have some fun crafting. Thank you.